right, thanks guys for tuning in to the first ever edition of a breakdown of the season of Horrorfest. Last year we did one on the whiteboard, but it was simply comprised of all of the horror films during Horrorfest that we've done the last 10 years that we've seen multiple times, 2 or more times. There was just a listing of those films. That's not a breakdown of the season. Tonight, on this premiere on the Frank Addington channel, you're watching the first ever, hopefully the last, breakdown of the season of Horrorfest. So we come to the end of the season of the end of summer, beginning of fall, season of movie watching, which is from about Labor Day to this year, October 9th. We go into Horrorfest. So if you think of it like a football game, if you think of the entire year of movie watching like a football game, we start the first half in the game with the spring season. So we start with a bang with some great movies, flurry of films. The end of summer, beginning of fall season is a little bit more like a halftime. We come out of the locker room for what's kind of the second half of the year of movie watching with another bang. We're ready to go, regrouped after a locker room halftime speech, make some halftime adjustments, and we come out with the original season, the first season ever created for movie watching in our jargon, and that is Horrorfest. It's the longest tenured, it's the longest lasting one, going back to about 2012 or so, maybe even a little bit before that. And this year, the dates have changed, of course, over the years. It used to be typically we used to call it like 15 Nights to Rock. Horrorfest 2013, 14 Nights to Rock. It was something a little more like closer to 2 weeks. This year, or over the last couple of years, we have started to kind of settle in on having it the second Friday in October. It's just kind of worked out that way. We had a Friday the 13th. We started it then in 2023, and then last year we did it on the 12th, on a Friday. And that seems like kind of the correct spot. Okay, so this year it will be, as you can see, October the 10th. Sorry, it was October 11th last year, leap year. It's October the 10th through October the 31st. All right, only Friday. All right, so we start on Friday, we end on Halloween. Now, some people might want to start on October the 1st. I understand that some of you guys do start on October the 1st, and there's a lot of people out there in the horror fan world who do this 31 days of horror celebration. That's okay if you want to do it that way. But our official start for Horrorfest this year is October the 10th, and it's going to be 22 Nights to Rock. I know Darth is starting his early. Will we ever change it to October 1st? We will have some winter meetings, okay? We'll have some discussions. You never know, it might. I'm not in favor of it at this time, but as far as the ending of Horrorfest, I have mentioned this several times before about the option of carrying it to November 1st, and I listed a couple movies horror films that go into the 1st of November, or they're focused on the 1st of November. Forget that. Don't do it on November 1st. It doesn't work. Once it's over, once Halloween night ends the next day, you typically should not be wanting to do horror films the next day. Okay, even last year, I did a horror film on the 1st of November. It just didn't feel Right. Okay. And also do not start it at September. Don't start it like September 29th or anything like that. Okay. All right. So the must watches. There's not many must watches for Horrorfest. There's not as many as I really thought there were. So you have, for this year, 22 nights, and then you're kind of building around just 4. We only have 4. There's a couple others that are very, very, very close to becoming must watches, but the 4 that I have listed here are the definite must watches. Okay. You don't want to make a huge list of must watches because you want to keep it a little more. Horrorfest is pretty fluid, and you want to keep your options open. Island of the Doomed, 1967, is one of those films. This is one that was discovered randomly in 2018 and watched that during that Horrorfest season, and it has been there every single year since. Okay, so it's that good. The atmosphere is that good. Cameron Mitchell is in this. I've got your times here. 1967. This also goes by the name Man Eater of Hydra. And then I think that's actually the official name. So 88 minutes, Cameron Mitchell. And then we have a woman here, Montez. I think it's Eliza Montez. And Jorge Martin. And then some others in there that are really good. All right, so that's kind of maybe our first must watch. And then next is Splatter University, 1994. I know we saw this one on August the 14th, but it's always a must watch. It has a real fall feeling to it. And it's been in, I think, every single Horrorfest since we began documenting them in 2015. And this is always a must watch. It's always kind of early in the season of Horrorfest, usually like the first week. Splatter University, 1984, an all-time classic. I don't care if we just saw it last month. It's coming back in Horrorfest with Francine Forbes, Dick Beale, Rick Randy as Mark Hammond, my hero. This is 78 minutes long. The one that's kind of the anchor of the entire season, one of the real quarters of the entire year, one of the most important stakes in the entire year of movie watching is The Devil Walks at Midnight, 1971. That I think really goes usually by the title Devil's Nightmare, 1971. But I like the title The Devil Walks at Midnight better. That was on the VHS tape that I watched, that I rented originally. 94 minutes long, free on YouTube, I think, under Devil's Nightmare. Jan Servais, the French actor. And then we have Jacques Monsau as the priest, who's awesome in this. And then the scene-stealing Erica Blanc. Okay, it was really the star of the film. Devil Walks at Midnight. Okay, a lot of other good ones in this one. The atmosphere of this one, of Island of the Doom, is very, very similar to Devil Walks at Midnight. And then finally, the Slumber Party Massacre, 1982. This one always comes with pizza. This one is one that comes at the very end of Horrorfest. It is 82 minutes long. It's got a nice little short running time. It has Michelle Michaels, Robin Steele, and the recently departed Michael Villela as Russ Thorne, S. Strux lookalike. Okay, so the Slumber Party Massacre, this one fits in nicely. What day is Halloween this year? Can somebody tell me out here? What day is Halloween this year? Alright, so I think it's a Friday. I believe it's a Friday. Yeah, that works perfectly. I think it is a Friday. So almost definitely this year this will be on Halloween. Okay. So it's good to do it the weekend before Halloween. If say Halloween's a Tuesday, maybe like a Saturday night, do this one, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be our finale, but it may not be. This one we didn't even do last year for the first time since the recording. We did not get to it. So you'll be back this year. All right. Those are 4 must-watches. Then we have the ones, we have listed 4 more that are very, very, very close to being must-watches. Really the top 2. These 2 here are the closest ones. So Horror High, 1974, just discovered this a few years ago. Horror High, it's like kind of unintentional humor and dark comedy, very low budget. 1974, 85 minutes long. Pat Carty, I think he was a child actor, is the nerdy villain in this. It's just hilarious. And we have Rosie Holitik is the main lead female, his love interest, and then Austin Stoker is phenomenal as the detective. I love in these films, few of these horror films, I do include detective scenes that are just unintentionally hilarious with red herrings or suspects of the murders that are happening in the films. This is one of them. This is one of the best ones. It's a lot of stuff like that in this. And there's also a slew of like 70s defensive NFL players in this game, which is kind of strange. I think like Randy White is in this film. I forget who else. Maybe like Ed Jones. There's a few just random NFL players who were in this, and they're hard to spot, but they're like in the locker room and stuff. So, like Earl Morrall is one is in this. So, all right, and then this is just a really good film. And then this one, Blood Feast, 1963, is a cult film. The 58 minutes makes it very attractive for just, we're doing on our thing here. Okay, we got it. Blood Feast is just more unintentional humor, more detective stuff. The detective is William Kerwin is the guy, and this is really good. There's another guy. The killer, Mal Arnold, is awesome as the Pharaoh. Ramses. This has got cannibalism in it and like weird not voodoo stuff, but like ancient Egypt ritualistic stuff, and some funny chase scenes. And it has Lynn Bolton as your kind of fleet female, this older mother. And this one is just one that I keep going back to, and I kind of brought it back a few years ago, and then I keep watching it, so it's getting really, really close to being a must-watch. The third one that's the closest to being a must-watch is Drive-In Massacre. This also has a lot of detective stuff. The 2 detectives. This is not Jerry Goff. This is John Goff of the Alpha Incident, 1976. It's one of our must-watches for the spring season. Love ya, Mr. Goff. Bruce Kimball is the other detective. He's a small part in Roller Coaster, 1977. One of our July must-watches. And Robert Pearson is as Austin Johnson, the drive-in movie theater owner, manager, and we also have Douglas Goodbye as Jeremy in this. It's one that I've seen many times for Horrorfest. It's one it's got this attractive 74-minute running time. It's got nice little scenes with weird couples, most of them like older couples, which is kind of like, rather than just doing the same old teenager stuff. This is one that it's very close to being a must-watch, but it's kind of, if I don't see it, I can live without it, but it's close. And then last, I'll list The Demon 1981 for this year, because we haven't seen The Demon this year. It's kind of a must-watch for the year of movie watching, and it's one that has been seen many times in Horrorfest. It's one that I feel like we kind of need to do this year, and I highly recommend this one. It is 94 minutes. Jennifer Holmes. It's a good Halloween ripoff. It's probably my second favorite Halloween ripoff after Slumber Party Massacre. Okay. Cameron Mitchell, again, who was up here, Island of the Doomed. He's great in this, and then the lovely Zoli Markey, and her boyfriend is Craig Gardner, is great as well. So this is one that if it is not watched, if we don't get to this one in, I listed it in August as in others, because it can be watched like around August. If we don't get to it for Horrorfest this year, it'll more than likely be watched in the January season of movie watching, which is towards the end of the year of movie watching. Alright, so The Demon, great movie. Alright, that's it for the 4 near must watches. Now let's talk about the others. Okay, so the others are, there's just a big list to pluck from. And we start here with Screen Time. And the ones that I list, the first 3 are really these are close to being near must watches. But Screen Time, 1993, is a trilogy film. Speaking of trilogy films, Trilogy of Terror, 1975, I think is gone from my others from Horrorfest. I don't like it. I think it's a little overrated. Scream Time is much better. It's a great trilogy horror film. It's been watched many times at Horrorfest, as has The Gates of Hell, 1980, also called City of the Walking Dead, I believe it's the other name. The Gates of Hell, it's got Christopher George in this, 1980. Very great atmospheric film. Alright, a lot of great gore if you're into that. I Was a Teenage Werewolf, 1957. I feel like that's one we kind of need to get back to. We haven't seen it in a few Horrorfests. This was an MST3K one, though you don't have to watch that version. 1957, Michael Landon. Alright, and then we have this one, Lost Things, 2003, has now become one of my others for Horrorfest, but it will not be watched this year because we just saw it at the beginning of September. Okay, so Lost Things. I talked about it in my after viewing it. Lost Things was the lead-off film for 2024 Horrorfest. So think of it like if you think of the year of movie watching like a football game. We came out of that break, that halftime of that September period and beginning of October. I started Horrorfest with a Sean Payton like onside kick, surprise onside kick to begin the second half, and recovered that onside kick with Lost Things, and it was a dynamite choice. Okay, I highly suggest it, but I won't watch it again this year. The Funhouse, 1981, really fits in for Horrorfest. I don't think it's ever been watched though for Horrorfest, but it's kind of state fair, carnival related, feels very October. And it's a very good early 80s horror film. The Funhouse, and then Squirm, 1976. I feel like this is another one that will probably be watched this year. This is another one that is that's MST3K, but the film itself, it can be watched without MST3K commentary. Squirm, 1976 is a fun one, and I feel like it needs to come back pretty soon. It's been a while. Night of the Living Dead, 1968 is a great choice for Horrorfest. Pieces, 1981 is one that I think we saw it back in like 2016, maybe brought it back around 2021 or so. I'm just guessing, so it's been viewed a couple times. It's another great, that 1981 period, and I think it might have Christopher George in this as well. But this one I feel like should come back. Pieces is a good film, good gore, right? Halloween 3, 1982. I think we ended last Horrorfest with Halloween 3. It's a great Halloween related film, obviously. Takes place leading up to Halloween and on Halloween. And it's the best, it's my favorite of the Halloween franchise. The question is where is Halloween 1978, you might ask? Well, it might be a top favorite for Halloween night for a lot of people. It's never been watched in Horrorfest by me in the history since recording Horrorfest. I think I watched it one Halloween, maybe the 2000s, for like the first time. It's never been in Horrorfest at any time. So I'm just not going to list it. But I will, but here's one that I've never seen during Horrorfest, but I feel like needs to have a place here in the others. And that's 1981's Hell Night. Linda Blair and Peter Barton. And this one is one of those, it's got a great dark atmosphere. I think the entire movie is at night. It's got that fraternity thing, pledge to spend the night in a haunted house, which goes all the way back to House on Haunted Hill, which is another great choice to watch. And this is a highly recommended film, Hell Night, 1981. It's the most neglected film in this list here of all of these films. It's kind of a crime that we haven't had this one in Horrorfest. All right, the Amityville Horror, 1979. We did this one in 2023. For the first time, it was recorded in Horrorfest, and it's just one of those ones that I have to put it here as a choice because it's the one that kind of started Peter's interest in horror, kind of sparked something. And then we have a couple more that are kind of more on the humorous side. Beware of the Blob. This is the Blob 2, 1972. It's kind of a hard one to resist. It's a good time waster. Already saw it once this year. I think back in maybe March, maybe during the little break before the year started. Probably won't do it, but you never know. It's a fun little film. It's one that's kind of an acquired taste. I will warn you about that. And then Microwave Massacre is just one that I think we've seen maybe at least two times, maybe three. It was last year's. It's cannibalism stuff, very dark humor type stuff, but another fun time waster. Chopping Wall is 1986. This one was done by Roger Corman's daughter. It's an awesome, one of the best horror concepts in the 80s horror. It's not my favorite horror film, but it's really good. It's got kind of a short running time, and it's a fun one. Chopping Wall is really good. All right, Dracula 1933 is one that's always a good choice. Can't go wrong with Dracula. Fall 1979, I have to always put it here in Horrorfest. You see this on like a lot of different seasons, don't you? But now the real placement for Bog is August. It's a must-watch now in August. But it can still be brought back for Horrorfest, definitely. All right, and then I threw this one in Boogeyman 2, 1983. I think we saw this one back in the first year we recorded these, 2015, and it's pretty bad, but it's good. All right, Boogeyman. John Carradine still around in this one. All right, what else do we have? We have Friday the 13th. Okay, so another thing about the Halloween 1978 film is that why it's not on my others list. It's because I've never seen it for Horrorfest. Plus, these two movies, I like the Halloween ripoff, Over Party Massacre, and The Demon. So it kind of covers your Halloween right there. All right. Friday the 13th. Okay, so this one is one that has never been a must-watch. Now, obviously, and this applies to every other season of the year. Whatever season includes a Friday the 13th on the calendar, obviously, Friday the 13th, a Friday the 13th film will be a must-watch. All right, so we had just one this year. We watched Friday the 13th, the original 1980 for that one, and then we watched one in August, Jason Goes to Hell. So we've seen two Friday the 13th movies this year, but for Horrorfest, it's just a game time decision. So it can be excluded, but it's not a must-watch. So it's just kind of up to you which ones. That's why I have a little star here. They're pretty much all on the table. I would say I would pretty much leave out Jason X, because that will be one done at the end of December. But if we do a Friday the 13th for Horrorfest 2025, it will be probably the front runner would be like Part 5, A New Beginning, 1985. Just a gut feeling. Okay, so that's where the Friday the 13th franchise fits into Horrorfest. As far as other franchises, Nightmare on Elm Street, I think I pretty much retired that franchise from Horrorfest. We did the original Nightmare on Elm Street a couple times. I'm kind of done with it. Psycho, you can go with Psycho, one of the Psycho films. You can certainly do The Exorcist if you dare. And I don't think you'll ever see an Omen film watching Horrorfest. That's never going to happen. So if you think about other seasons that have must-watch horror films, you think about the spring season has a lot of them, like The Terror at Red Wolf Inn. It's kind of tempting to maybe try in Horrorfest. You never know. But other than that, I can't think of one that I would pull from another must-watch from another season. Like, say, January Attack of the Puppet People. It has been done for Horrorfest, but I don't think I'd do it again. Definitely no Omens. Definitely not the Snow Beast, 1977. That would be weird to pull that one from like Omen season, January season. And then all of the summer ones, I can't see that happening. The only exception there would be Return of the Living Dead, 1985. That has been watched a few times during Horrorfest. I feel like its rightful home is in July, and it can certainly be brought back for Horrorfest because it's a great film. but I probably won't be doing it anytime soon. As far as MST3K, I mean, there are a couple options, but not many. I listed a couple here. I Was a Teenage Werewolf, and then Squirm, which is one that doesn't need the commentary version. So it's not a whole lot there with MST3K for Horrorfest season. Same with the Twilight Zone. You're probably not going to see anything from that. Every now and then you may see one pulled in, like, you know, Terror at whatever, William Shatner Terror at 30,000 feet, whatever it was called, or something like that. Most of those are sci-fi anyway. And then some of you might be wondering, where are the 1890s and like early 1900s films that I always have in Horrorfest? I'm not going to put those in others, but you will see them, a few of them this year. Those are for just evenings where you just don't have the time to do a full length, but I don't want to focus on those. But I will say that the goal of this Horrorfest, for me anyway, is to not have any duds. I don't want to have any duds this year. Because last year, I think there were at least a couple, including, for example, Bloodsong 1982 was one that was a mistake. I took a shot at it because it looked like it could be okay, and it had James Earl Jones, and he died that year. It'd be a tribute. It was a dud. There were a couple other ones that weren't very good. So definitely going to be strong. Going to go strong and pick these four, at least half of these, and then start picking from these. So we've got 22 nights to rock, boys. And then as far as those, like, if and when I have to go to the really early films that are really short, definitely want to do something quality and maybe not take wild chances. Things like The Bewitched Inn, I think that's 1896, and you know, Scrooge or Marley's Ghost, 1903, like really, really good films. The 1912 version of Frankenstein is really good. So definitely want to go with the quality, even if these films are like 2 minutes long. They get the most quality ones possible instead of taking shots at others. The Wolfman 1940 is another one that could be in others. You could even have 1973. It's a good choice for others. You could do Bug 1970. That's not really a horror film, it's more of a sci-fi. So forget that one. Okay, so there's a lot of choices out there. There's Mortuary, 1983. Okay, so just trying to think of some kind of off the top of my head that I've forgotten about. For Horrorfest 2025, I think it's going to be a good one. 22 nights to rock and roll, boys. It's going to be awesome. Must watches, near must watches, others right here. Simpsons, Horrorfest. Yeah, you can do that as well. I think that's pretty much it. Okay. There's one called Junior, 2002. Could be a possibility. There's one called High Tension from the 2000s as well. It's like a French film. Haven't seen it in a long, long time. Razorback, 1984, I think, a good Australian horror film about a giant razorback. How about the Jaws franchise? This is the 50th anniversary. Is Jaws the Revenge available online? I really want to see that again. Okay, so Jaws, you can do some Jaws ripoffs. We did Grizzly, 1976, a couple of years ago. Christopher George again. Okay, Blood Beach has never been done for Horrorfest. That's another one that's stuck in August or must watch. Okay, Blood Beach. So, anything I'm missing here, guys? Anything you like to add to the Horrorfest here? I think it's gonna be a really good one. I know some of you like the real older ones, like the 1940s stuff, but Lady Frankenstein, I think it's 71. That's what I'd like to bring back. Lady Frankenstein. It's kind of a rare, crappy one that's really good. All right, so got a lot of choices. Definitely want to keep it quality this year. So that's Horrorfest breakdown and analyzing the best I can do for you. That's Horrorfest, and then when Horrorfest ends on the 31st of October, we go into a little lull of November 1st through the first day of Thanksgiving Fest. That is a pretty long lull. That is like a 3-week or longer little period where there's not much happening. I don't even know what to call that season, but maybe I'll do a whiteboard thing about that season before Thanksgiving Fest. You can kind of properly describe, talk about what that season is all about. If it even is a season. I don't think it is a season. I think it's more like just a break. All right, when it's Horrorfest, it can wear you out. It can drain you emotionally, sometimes even physically. All right, if you're not power walking regularly like duck meat in Mississippi. All right, Horrorfest, 22 nights to rock. Hope you're ready. I'm ready. I'm stoked. I don't have an idea. I don't like a set list for this. Not sure what it's going to be for the lead-off film for night one, but I promise it'll be something great. I hope yours will be something great. Check the weather, get the right feel for it, and hopefully we'll even get 1 or 2 beach visits in during Horrorfest. That always makes Horrorfest really special. Thanks for watching this on this premiere video on Frank Addington channel, your favorite channel on YouTube. Appreciate it, boys. See you next time.